This might get weird.
Are we recording?
I believe we are recording.
Oh, hell yeah. Cheers, Grace Helbig.
Cheers. Sorry.
Ooh, listen to that sound effect.
I know. Very Foley artist.
Oh, yeah.
It's happening.
Middle of the day podcast. No coffee.
No coffee, no problems.
I'm doing the thing.
Wait, are you doing no coffee?
No, not as like a lifestyle.
Okay. I was like, when did that happen?
No, just not at like 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'm doing the thing where, I love an iced tea from Starbucks.
I guess I know that now.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I get the biggest size they got. I do it, no sugar, like no caffeine. But then I do the thing where I get that at the top of the day, and then my goal is to refill it with water, like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
Becomes my little water goal.
That's a very cute goal. And attainable. Life hack.
I have to make hydration a game.
I mean, everything has to be a game.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. You're looking. You're back in bandanas. I see that.
Because I ran. I did exercise. I did. I did the thing where my body forces toxins out of my body, and then I did not fully shower my hair.
I didn't either. I just washed my bangs.
Good for you.
I've gotten really into leaving my hair up and just washing the bangs.
Yeah, I don't have bangs, so hence bandana.
However, I think since my hair is red and it's red dye, that's the color that fades the quickest.
Right.
And so I feel like I'm just gonna have different color bangs than the rest of my head.
I mean, it's a choice, and I think you can pull it off. The same way that you had sideways bangs, have different color bangs.
Oh shit! Don't cut your own bangs, kids.
2019. Okay, what have you been up to? First of all, we have to tell everyone, because this is fresh in our brains, what we did yesterday.
Oh, you guys. Grace and I were lucky enough to be guests on someone else's podcast.
And it's
I'm still mentally recovering. It was a great time, but just
wonderful time. Still the processing of what actually happened to us, what actually got bestowed upon us, the opportunity.
We did the podcast of none other than Macaulay Culkin.
Or as he has legally changed his name to Macaulay Culkin.
He has a podcast called Bunny Ears. It won't be out for a few weeks, our episode. But I mean, just getting a text message from my manager being like, hey, would you be down to do Macaulay Culkin's podcast? I full on Home Alone faced.
Yeah.
I full on slapped my cheeks like aftershave.
It's the only I hung a paint can up from my ceiling and let it hit me in the face.
I covered my stairs with tacks.
It was, I got the email after you've been asked. It was like, Mamrie's already agreed to this. Do you want to do Macaulay Culkin's podcast? And I was like, of course I do.
See, but here's the bummer about it, because we, as I'm in this saga, you all know, they're trying to sell this house that I live in.
Yes.
My landlords are.
Oh, yes.
I had to, A, clean it, which sucks. And B, they were coming to take pictures of it for the website. And I didn't know how long it was going to run. So initially they asked if we could record with Macaulay, or Mac as he goes by.
He goes by Mac.
Yeah. If we could record with Mac, our friend. Where we record, which, as you guys know, is just the back of my house beside my washing machine. And I so badly wanted to do that and just be like, I had Macaulay Culkin in my home.
Yeah.
I'm such a big fan of him.
I was scared. Well,
really?
One, because I'd only recently, because of being asked to do his podcast, started to look into him and realize he's like the most
fucking funny.
He's the most wonderful internet troll of all time. And then I was like, oh my God, I don't know what to expect from this person.
Right.
And I also don't want to go in too hot, too cold, too uninterested, too overinterested.
Well, I immediately responded and said, are we gonna get trolled? Like, is this a podcast that makes fun of podcasts?
Yeah.
Or is something gonna happen and we're gonna show up and realize like we're getting like Mac down? Like, is it WWE Mac down?
He was fantastic. He was everything and more, I think.
He brought Grace and I each a bottle of champagne to take home. One to drink during the podcast and one to take home.
And then I love that immediately when we got in the car on the way home, Mamrie looked up how much the champagne cost. Just to see. I mean, I'm with you. I was like, I can't tell. He came in with a giant brown bag of like booze goodies for us and then gave us champagne. And it was like overwhelming. The whole process was overwhelming.
Well, we were very, I was touched that he gave us a gift and I thought it was really sweet. And then I didn't want the thing to happen like if someone gives you a gag gift and you don't know it's,
it's like sparkling cider, you find out later that he's like, haha.
Right. Or like Andre, which is like the shittiest champagne or sparkling wine that's $4.
Yeah.
I didn't want him to be giving that to us. And we're like, and we're just sincere.
We're so gracious.
We're sincere when we're actually being trolled. So yeah, no, it's a nice bottle of champagne. I was very excited. I'm never going to open it.
It was a very fun episode. I'm so excited for you guys to listen to it. And you can audibly hear the moments in which we are dumbfounded by the fact that we're actually there and this is happening.
Yeah, you can see us leave our bodies for sure, and then just go through, fangirl phase.
It was really great.
But what have you been up to? Okay, we saw each other. That was yesterday on Monday, but you went down to our place in Palm Springs this weekend.
I did,
and you went like off the grid.
I did. I went with my friend Elliot, and we got exceptionally high down there.
Sick.
It was like we've been talking about doing like an artist retreat type of thing, aka
I love how you can call something a retreat and that just means drugs.
Well, we got exceptionally high. We went to Michael's, bought a bunch of art supplies, and like went to Palm Springs, and it was the greatest thing ever. I wasn't intentionally off the grid.
Okay.
The reason I was off the grid is because I was so beautifully out of my brains. One, our Palm Springs place has never looked more beautiful to me in my entire life.
Okay.
So there were many moments like that. But two, I was in such a state that anytime I tried to pick up my phone, I just kept going, this is the devil's device.
What?
Because I couldn't, I was just in such a state of natural beauty was so overwhelming.
You were tripping your face off.
I was out of my brain a little bit. And then I kept saying every time I picked my phone up to change music on the Sonos system.
Were you scared of it?
I was scared of it. I kept putting it under pillows and saying, this is the source of all of my problems.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I was kind of proud of myself for acknowledging that, because that is, sober or high, a very true statement.
It is. I mean, we are immediately staying on your story, but I recently put a social media time limit on my phone.
That scares me too.
Here's the deal: is I was like, I'll be generous. Let's not go crazy.
Right.
I'm not a toddler who's only gets the iPad 30 minutes a day. I was like, I'll do 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Between Twitter and Instagram, that's good. I ran out by 11 a.m. the first day.
Yeah, see that I know that's going to happen to me. It might be 9 a.m. for me the first day. And so that's what I'm like, I can't come face to face with that just yet. But this was a beautiful day in which nature was just so profoundly more interesting than social media that I just kept saying this, I can't even deal with this device. This is awful. This is horrible.
Were the bunnies running in the backyard?
Here's the thing. The bunnies were running. No, the bunnies weren't there.
Okay, Beans officially won then.
The war has been settled.
She has had quite the goal.
I was getting to a point upset with nature because we have this beautiful tree that produces this still curious fruit.
Yeah,
pomelos,
bosoms of a citrus.
Yeah, some sort of grapefruit orange hybrid. And it's the most beautiful, picturesque tree. And anytime you looked at it, there were hummingbirds and butterflies just swirling through it that I'd be like, you guys know what you're doing. I was getting mad at them.
I love that you're seeing the most idyllic moment and you find a way to get mad at it.
It was so beautiful that I was so upset because I didn't believe it. It was so unbelievably beautiful to me that I was just like, no, you guys know what you're doing. You guys are all working together against me. But then I was having insane moments of gratitude, just pure, unadulterated,
all
gratitude.
Consuming. I might burst into confetti.
I literally found myself standing in our living room, in tears, just looking around, going, I am so thankful for this house. I'm so thankful for the work that you and I have done for this. And then I had to shake it off and be like, what are you doing?
You're tripping, hell, man.
You're just standing in the living room. But then by the end of the day, the funniest part is that finally calmed down enough that I was able to order food, because that was a whole endeavor in and of itself.
And you had to get on the devil's device to do it.
I had to do the devil's deed on the devil's device, and so finally did that, ordered some food, and was like, okay, cool. We're winding down at the end of the day, and then the delivery guy comes, and I open the door, and he just looks like tiny John Lennon, and I just... Literally, I was was expecting in Palm Springs like some flamboyant old man
beautiful,
delivering something.
muscular gay.
This is like a 20-year-old wearing round, yellow shaded glasses and like a full hippie costume with long shaggy hair. And I just opened the door and went, oh no. Because I was still like, I can't. I talked myself up and being like, I can handle whoever's going to drop this off. It's just an exchange of hands and you say thank you. And that's what you
said. Yoko, oh no.
Yeah, basically, I was just like, oh no. Okay. But then ended up watching Catwalk. Have you heard of this?
I have heard of this. I have not seen it yet. Correct me if I'm wrong.
God.
It's about like the
competitive cat circuit in Canada, and it is everything you need from a documentary and more.
What a perfect name!
It was the whole thing is perfect.
Okay,
it's perfect. Yeah, it's absolutely wonderful. It was like the perfect thing to watch at the end of the day. I highly recommend it. It's like a Christopher Guest movie, but real.
Yeah.
It's basically Best in Show, but with real people that are very, very intense about their cats and like try to be self-aware that they're so intense about it. Oh, you got to see it. There's one moment where this woman named Kim, who is like the main lead woman that's like side shading all the other people, being like, if they don't show up for the competition, then their scores will suffer. And it's like, yeah, but she's like, haha,
you don't want to win by default.
Oh,
Kim?
she does. And then there's one moment where we get to like humanize her and we see that she's into scuba diving, and then they do this like weird Rocky montage of her putting on all of her scuba gear, and then she just jumps into the deep end of a pool, like a backyard pool. It's the weirdest moment. We rewound it like 7 times and rewatched it.
Well, to be fair, they probably didn't have the budget to have a crew go into the ocean.
They showed her at one point in like a lake, and then when it was like her like shining moment, all of a sudden then it reveals that she's just jumping into a pool.
I want no more spoilers.
No
more
it.
Catwalk spoilers.
Yeah, so that was my weekend. That's why I was off the grid. I had a beautiful time reconnecting with nature. I realized it's been here the whole time. It's really beautiful. The phone is the bane of my existence, and so yeah, I'm a different person now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, 2 things.
Yep.
One, while you were painting, do you promise you didn't put up any of that in our home?
No, I threw it in the garbage.
Thank God.
Yeah, no, trust me. I went through a couple different ideas. One, I was going to hide it in a closet somewhere that could be found later. 2, I was going to actually put it up in the bathroom. And then 3, I threw it in the garbage because it was not good art, and I can say that objectively, subjectively, definitively.
Yes. Thank you so much for this gift. Number 2, you talking about the plot of Catwalk.
Yeah.
Just made me remember, okay, when I was on a mod team, which is like the house sketch team at UCB, you had to do like a 3-minute character audition, or maybe it was longer. It
like
might
an
have been
original character.
Yeah, it was like 5 minutes, let's say. You can do what you want. So I did 5 characters. 1 a minute a piece, and then I also like timed it to like a background music.
Yeah,
because I could figure out like musical cues of like, oh, I need to be at this part or that, or here comes a theme music, because I knew they'd cut you off and I didn't want to get cut off.
Yeah,
I just remembered one of my characters. It was a fake TV show, and I added voiceover to it too, that it was toddlers and tiaras, but women with their cats, and I called it Kitty Glitter. And I just remembered that. I was like, you got this fancy. I mean, I was just, or just like, being like, Smokey is clearly overweight and has been, and just being a Southern cat mom.
I have since looked up cat shows.
Yeah.
There's a lot in the neighborhood if we ever want to frequent one of them.
I mean, I don't know if that was a question so much as send me some dates.
I'm putting it on our calendar.
Send me some Google Cal invites.
You had a different experience this weekend.
I did a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
over
tell me
this
about
week.
it.
Well, first of all, the last time we spoke, when we recorded last Tuesday.
Yeah.
We talked about the fact that night I was going to line dancing.
That's right.
I was going to line dancing last Tuesday. I was very excited. I mentioned it before, but it's a place called Oil Can Harry's. That's been around forever. And so I was going there to meet Melissa and Kirby. Kirby was my roommate in college.
Right.
So like the 3 of us have known each other.
3 amigos.
We've known each other 20 years. Have we? Oh my God, so depressing. Maybe 15. So we're going to meet there. Of course, I am the only one on time.
Yeah.
I mean, shocking, right? I'm the only one on time, but I'm a little nervous because the place looks like a place that's only regulars.
Oh.
Like they haven't updated anything because they know they don't have to because they're going to have the same group of dudes come there for 50 years. And I got a little nervous because you never know
if you're going to be accepted
in a gay bar, if they're going to be like, will you please leave and quit? Like either not, I'm sure gentrify isn't the word, but like basicify us. Like this isn't for you girls to come here and hang out. So I'm sitting in the parking lot and I said to them, I'm like, I'm not getting out of the car until one of you guys get here because there's line dancing on the main floor, but then above it is a place called the Loft, which is always karaoke and stuff. And there's some backstairs. So some guys come down from the Loft to smoke a cigarette and they're standing right behind my Fiat. You would think that I was like an undercover cop.
There's a narc in the parking lot.
So immediately I pull out my phone to write down the conversation. I didn't record it.
Drink.
But I pull out the phone and these men are probably in their like mid 60s or so.
Okay.
And one of them just goes, "Good night, Larry." He goes, "Good night."
What time of night is this?
This is like, I think it was like 7:45. So this is post happy hour crew.
Okay.
So I hear, "Good night, Larry. Good night." And he goes, "Have some good sex tonight and think of me at the sorry. Okay. I'm gonna go back. All right. "Good night, Larry. Good night. Have some good sex tonight. I will." And then he goes, "And think of me at the exact moment you're about to shoot." Oh my. And then Larry goes, "What? A gun?" And then he goes, "No, your big load." And then Larry goes, "Okay, I'll call you when it's about to happen, but you're going to have to answer in a hurry."
Oh my God.
And he goes, "It's a deal. Good night, Larry." And I'm just sitting there like, yeah, I'm not getting out of this fucking car until they get here. And then 2 seconds later, the same guy goes, to another random person just goes, "Good night, Louis Armstrong." And then a random voice just goes, "What a wonderful world." I guess this man has a great Louis Armstrong impression and was probably doing it at karaoke. But I was just like,
oh my God.
I was like, I could sit here forever and spy on these old men.
That's like the worst like lead into a porn script ever.
But I just loved it. Like, "No, you're big when you shoot. What, a gun?" I was like, oh, these two.
I was like, they're putting it on for you.
There's some real, they could vaudevillian tour in group.
Some vaudevillian sexual tension, but not even tension, just like straight up sexual conversation.
Just the most blatant out there.
Like, why aren't you guys fucking? Like,
Yeah.
what's going on?
Maybe they have before, but maybe, who knows? It was killing me. So then we went inside and it was actually like, super delightful, not intimidating at all. Just lovely couples dancing, but also some younger people and people. They teach you a new line dance at the top of the night.
Okay.
And then you do it a few times. And then they just have like regular line dance where people who know them do them. Mm-hmm. And then an hour later, they teach a second line dance. So it's like, it's a nice paced out thing.
It feels like going to an aerobics class.
Right. Yeah. Where you can go in and you can try to like pick up a couple.
Yeah.
Which I was able to do. And then there are ones that are just so fucking complicated.
Yeah.
It's, and then there are ones that are just straight up like booty dance. Like I figured it was going to be all, boot scoot and boogie and tush push and all this. And then Melissa just looks at me and she goes, Is this fucking Busta Rhymes?" It's like, yes, they are about to do a dance to Busta Rhymes, and people fucking brought it.
That's amazing.
We had so much fun, and we weren't even drinking that night. Like, total club soda night.
Wow.
We had such a blast that we went back on Friday.
Wait, you went back in the same week?
On Friday, 3 days later, and did it again, which was fun because we knew 2 dances.
That's so
And then we learned 2 other ones.
Was it the same crowd of people?
Yeah, it got really busy on Friday.
Yeah.
But there's definitely regulars.
Are you becoming a regular?
I don't know. I mean, there's so much to memorize. Like I did before we went back on Friday, I was like, I barely remember this dance we learned on Tuesday, and went on YouTube and Googled it.
You did some homework.
And it was just like middle-aged women at a Y in Korea. Just line dancing together. So
amazing. You found a new hobby.
It's kind of fun. It's a fun outing.
It sounds incredible.
Yeah. We had a really good time.
So silly.
We got way too drunk. But
speaking of dancing, I have to mention that just on the way here, I saw this meth head trying to put on a sweatshirt in a Burger King parking lot, and but all the while I had Daft Punk's Around the World playing in my car.
Ooh.
And it synced up perfectly. It was going
my gosh.
around the world trying to put this sweatshirt on. And I looked over and I was just like, this is confusing and entertaining.
But that also seems like an actual music video that Spike Jonze would direct for Daft Punk of someone just trying to put on a sweatshirt for 5 minutes.
Perfect.
Oh, what joy.
Yeah.
What joy.
But what you
I had some other stuff happen.
Yeah, you went to a tattoo thing.
Yes. So Friday night, I boot scooted. I boogied. I drank too much. Saturday, chilled out.
What was the difference between going sober and then going and drinking? Did you notice like this is more fun or this is less fun or this is equally as great?
Yeah, it was equally as fun.
Mm-hmm.
I just did the dumb thing where I didn't really eat enough dinner, so I probably only had 3 drinks.
Mm-hmm.
But I just,
Yeah, it's a Friday night.
It's a lot. I got crowded.
Yeah.
But so on Sunday, Chip came back on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
We went to a birthday party that night, took it really easy. And then there was a tattoo convention he wanted to go to in Pasadena.
Yeah.
Because Chip loves tattoos.
Oh.
Like if you go on his...
You've heard the Womp There It Is story.
Yeah, he has a Womp There It Is tattoo. So he follows all tattoo artists on Instagram.
Oh, really?
Like his Instagram is just tattoo artists and like...
It's a
few
full
friends.
Subculture.
It really is, and there's like celebrity ones.
Yeah, like
but
Kat Von D made her name in tattooing, right?
right.
Yeah.
But more than that, it's kind of like going. Let's say Kat Von D is the Kendall Jenner on Instagram for tattoos. Like there's a whole culture, and there's so many different styles. Or it's like this person has the cleanest lines. This person's amazing at shading. This person,
interesting.
Like it's nuts. And Chip is always showing me ones he likes because he has a particular style. And so we go in there, and it's definitely the Sunday of a convention for probably a subculture of people that party hard.
Oh, they've been there all weekend.
So we're there at 12:30, and like a third of the booths are empty.
Yeah,
they've been doing it. But what I didn't realize is that besides the supply sellers and like these are new guns, this is new ink, it's people straight up getting tattooed.
Yeah, I saw Julian, Jenna's boyfriend, was Instagramming that he got his tattoo there. I was like, I think this is the expo that Mamrie and Chip are going to.
Yeah, it is people getting tattooed because here's the thing is tattoo artists are from everywhere.
Right.
So if you're going,
rare that you're
there's
gonna
this
see
tattoo
this
artist I love from London. They're going to be in like 10 minutes from me. I've got to get fucking tattooed.
And is it like a sign up process or you just like first come, first serve?
I think it's both because there are definitely people who said like taking walk-ins.
Yeah.
There's also tattoo artists who don't want people to come up and be like, hey, can I get, drunk eating a dick? So what they do is they draw on the transfer paper like 20 tattoos and put them on a table, and then you come up and claim it.
Oh,
and
you're
like, yeah, I love that tattoo. So they're saying you're not going to come up and just tell me what you want, but I'll do my specific like signature tattoos on you. So anyway, so we're walking through, and I mean, there are people with headphones on getting like a whole fucking leg tattoo.
Wow.
Like clearly they're laying down for 2 hours getting it. There was one guy getting his, well, there's several guys getting it. One guy getting his like his whole chest plate tattooed, and he had a plastic like toddler spoon in his mouth that he was clearly using to bite down on so he wouldn't
like
scream.
Civil War style. Again.
Yes, totally.
My God.
And in my head, I was thinking, I said to Chip, I was like, should we find the girl who gave us our matching finger tattoos? So I can just be like, check this out. Like,
yeah,
I have the tiniest tattoo of all time. And I still like screamed and cried when I got it. I'm like, the worst place I'd ever want to get a tattoo is in a place where people just walk by and watch.
I can see, that you're on display. You're
just to
like
see
a show.
how tough you are.
That's so nuts.
Isn't that fucking crazy?
That's so bonkers.
And I mean like full out insane tattoos.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Those can't be walk-ins. You can't go walk in and be like, I would like
you
to sign up
probably
for a
emailed them
7-hour.
early. There was one girl that's a tattoo artist that Chip already followed on Instagram and showed me. Her fucking eyeballs are tattooed.
What?
Her eyeballs are tattooed.
Wait,
her whole eye is black.
What?
Isn't that
How do you
insane?
do that?
I don't want to find out.
Oh my God.
I can barely go to the optometrist.
Oh my God.
Like when I've already said, when I go to the optometrist and they blow that little queef in your eye, I dread that for 364 days out of the year. And this bitch putting needles in her eyes.
Oh my God. That's so insane.
I know. But anyway, this one guy, we walked, Also, a lot of people are walking around with their fucking shirts off because they just got
they're billboards.
Well,
Yeah.
and they just to show off their stuff, and also because they just got tattooed.
Yeah, fresh
so
ink.
There's this one guy who's probably, I don't know, 6'6", big belly, like really tough. All he has is one tiny tattoo right here that's like a cross or something. And we see him walk up to a tattoo artist to get ready to go, and he's holding 3 shots of tequila. And
wait, there's a bar?
Yeah, there's a bar. You can like get Bloody Marys and stuff.
It's amazing.
Yeah, totally. Everyone has had Bloody Marys. But so there's guys got 3 shots of tequila. I see a couple of friends walk over, and then he walks up and he just pours 3 shots into a cup and takes it down. And I'm like, oh, this motherfucker's about to get tattooed. He's only got this tiny one. The little tattoo artist picks up the transfer paper. It is the size of, I'm not kidding, like a towel.
What?
Like a towel, and walks up to him, and it's a full back tattoo, right? Like I'm talking neck to shoulder to
waist,
down. He's going from a little fucking thing on his arm to a full back tattoo. And we just look, and I'm like, what is that? What modernist thing is that? It's Jesus's face. It's his. He's going from little fucking dinky cross to Jesus is his whole entire back.
Jesus is his homeboy.
Not even like the crucifixion, like just the face. And the thing is,
and Jesus face loves tequila, so it all makes sense.
I was having to look at it like a magic eye because Jesus's face, it was hard to make out. It looked like, and I can only compare this to when Jesus appears in like a piece of toast.
Yeah.
You know?
And it looks like a stencil already.
Right.
Yeah.
And people are like, Jesus is in my grilled cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
wow.
That was the whole thing.
Wow. Just 3 tequila shots. I mean, it did take Jesus 3 days to rise from the dead. So maybe there's some
3 bodies of Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Literally.
He was drinking for the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Oh my God. It was crazy.
That's nuts. I really wish I had gone.
Yeah. You'll go to the next one. And
did you guys get tattoos?
No, we didn't.
No,
everyone was signed up. Chip did run into the guy who gave him one like 3 weeks ago, and he like thought about it. But no, it was good.
So nuts.
It was crazy. And when I was talking about the toast, Jesus, it reminded me. When I was thinking about it earlier, it reminded me when I was little and my dad was living in a small town called Conyers, Georgia.
Okay.
Outside of Atlanta, we would go eat at this restaurant called Po Folks.
Sure.
It was a chain. It was a chain in the
Po Folks.
P-O, like poor folks. So it was a chain in like the, I guess, 80s and 90s in the South. It didn't take off.
Weird that it didn't take off.
But it was just like, we're po folks. We're going to make good food. I don't know. It was kind of like a Golden Corral or something.
Okay,
like it was, or like a lower tier Cracker Barrel, if you can believe it.
Wow.
Like there was no gift shop.
Cracker Barrel's pretty top tier.
It's not, yeah, that casserole's good. But we had a server who was an old lady there, and I remember going and my dad being like, oh yeah, don't remember her name. She had a Jesus in her toast, like as if
it's like a disease. Like, oh, she had the flu last week.
She full on had like news people come to her house because she found an image of Jesus in her toast, and like people came from miles around to see it. I was like, what an interesting random tidbit about our waitress, Dad. How often do you eat here?
But also, they make those toasters now that you can customize, so you can make toast.
Now they can't fool us anymore.
Yeah, no one has any divine interactions anymore. It's no.
Those miracles are literally toast.
I'm trying to think. I didn't have much happen this week, other than I did see that Fiona, the internet famous hippo, celebrated her birthday, and she got a birthday song sent to her by Timothy, the hippo, who I didn't know was a hippo.
Why are they creating these fake relationships?
They're creating these fake relationships, and he sent her a birthday song, and it's like a video with a birthday message, and it's not good. I watched I don't know, maybe 20
You're
seconds
telling me
of it.
this hippo was not great at editing or singing?
All of it? All of it.
Okay.
I'm going to play a little bit of it. Let's see. Dear Fiona, Timothy here to celebrate your special day. Hippos are not the best singers.
Okay.
They have green what's the green thing in its mouth? So I asked for some friends from San Antonio to help me with a birthday serenade.
Oh, no.
And then he just hired like a mariachi band to play for her.
Okay, and Timothy. Is Timothy...
And that's where I stopped the video. There's a whole minute and a half left, and I couldn't.
Is Timothy Fiona the hippo's boyfriend or just platonic friend, or has he been friend zoned and that's why he spent that money on a mariachi band?
I think he's been friend zoned. If I have to really assess this fake
you do.
animal
if you bring up this animal relationship, we must assess it.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
What?
That reminded me, okay, a couple nights ago, Chip and I were, it might have been like 2 nights ago, we were on the couch and I did the thing, and I never do it, 1 out of 10 times, where I fell asleep before him on the couch. He's normally the first one. Mm-hmm. But we're watching something and they're in Colombia, and I guess they were looking for hippos, and and I'm dead asleep and he doesn't realize it, and out of nowhere I just get woken up to, do you know why they have hippos in Colombia? And I was like, bitch, I was full on dreaming. And also
REM sleeping.
Yes, drug dealers bought them to protect their homes. But I was just like, what? I was like, that's the weirdest fucking sentence to wake up to.
That's horrifying.
It was very like hippo aggressive.
Oh, that's very funny.
I do have one more thing from post tattoo convention. We left the tattoo convention, and right beside it, sharing the convention center, on the smaller side, was Pasadena Comic-Con, which is like microscopic,
compared to
on the scheme
San Diego,
of things.
yeah.
But of course, they were like, yeah, you get in half price. It's like $5 if you already went to the tattoo convention. We're like, well, let's do a lap.
Yeah.
So we walked through and watched all the vintage toys, but then they had the most random people behind tables, where you could get like an autograph from a show that lasted for 5 episodes in the 60s, or like
they're going to Pasadena Comic-Con. Yeah.
But they had old school Power Rangers.
Wait, all the old original?
Not all of them, but like some of them.
The pink one wasn't there?
The pink one was not there.
Oh yeah,
but like the red one, he was there.
I only know the pink one because she was on Felicity afterwards.
Yeah, totally. But I didn't ask for an autograph because A, I didn't know if they were going to charge me, and I didn't have
like
cash.
It's Times Square,
right? And B, like I didn't want them to think I was somehow making fun of them or whatnot. But the Power Rangers were there, and I was wondering, did you used to watch Power Rangers?
Yes, I did. That's how I knew the pink one because I also did gymnastics at the same time, and I was like, she can do a back walkover. She's cool as heck.
I think she might even be in like a Lifetime movie as a gymnast.
For sure.
Right.
I think she was a competitive gymnast and then got Power Rangers. My brother Tim had all the toys that, you had all of their separate like saber-tooth tiger and whatever. Yeah. And then you could put them together to make, what did it make? Not Megatron. That's something different. Who knows? It make the big thing.
Yeah.
That would walk around. And he was obsessed with them. So I kind of watched by proxy.
See, it came on at like 7:30 in the morning when I was little, and not even little. I probably watched it up until like 7th grade.
No, I was like, I could tell when I was watching it that I was like
too old
to be. So
I was like, I should be watching the news.
I'm watching it because I should be watching Barbara Walters.
I should be watching
the
Today Show.
But I was like, he's watching it, so I guess I have to watch it. So.
I would watch it at 7:30, and I would have my Quaker Oats strawberries and cream oatmeal. And or for a while there, they had an oatmeal that when it was dry, they looked like little dinosaur eggs. And then when you made it hot, they were little dinosaurs.
Yep.
What's up? That's what's up. Can we get a sponsorship?
That's magic. That's straight up magic. That's witchcraft.
Anything that was like a Kinder egg, anything that was an egg that turned into something, I was fucking down. But I would eat my oatmeal and I would watch it. And I lived a block from my elementary school. Mm-hmm. And so and school started at 8.
Yeah.
And so I would like wait for them to cut to credits and then try to run to class in like 30 seconds.
You were like using the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Yeah, I was like fucking amped. I'd be like, haha, they got you again, idiots. Vroom.
Yeah, I would be curious to watch it now as an adult, going back and watching like the fighting sequences because they had one main opponent, right? I don't remember.
They had the crazy bitch who
was like a witch,
right? That Elizabeth Banks plays in the movie.
Oh,
because they did the movie. I don't think it was a big hit, but then they had like there was some weird pig thing. They always had like big dumb things. Like,
I always feel like they appeared in the sky.
Oh, you know who else was there?
Who?
One of the original Ninja Turtles.
What? I couldn't even tell you who they were.
Of course not. They weren't like voiced by celebrities, and I think it was just the guy who actually battled inside of it.
Whoa.
So it was like one of the Ninja Turtle
from
stuntmen.
the movie?
Yeah, from the movie.
Whoa, that's cool.
I guess.
Like
I'm saying, Pasadena Comic-Con wasn't San Diego, but it still had its fine moments.
Oh, that's very sweet.
I was into it.
I mean, that's the kind of thing that you like walking around because you're like, we're supporting you guys. You guys came out here. So.
Absolutely. Some sweet, sweet man came up to me and complimented me on my jumper, and it took him a while. And he was like, I couldn't tell if they were leopards or cheetahs. And then he walked off, and Chip was like, congratulations on helping him make his life goal. I was like, what? He was like, of speaking to a woman.
Yeah, that's when you go to those conventions. Yeah, that happens. Oh, I think more often than not. Yeah.
Totally. I want to go back to Comic-Con in San Diego this year, but it sells out so quickly.
Mm-hmm. How do we get back there, guys? Help us out.
Yeah, help us get in there because I already know. I went last year with Chip. I've told you guys about it.
Yeah.
Where he was a cross between Dragon Ball Z and Luigi from Mario Brothers. But I already have my mashup.
What's your mashup? Uh-oh.
So Comic-Con, as you know, you've been there, encompasses, it's not just like nerd culture. It's all like pop culture. It's just anything.
It's anything fantasy, anything pop culture. It
Movies.
Spreads out every year. I feel like. Yeah.
People just like who are really obsessed with a certain movie. So I want to do a mashup of two things.
Okay.
I want to do Alf Rid Hitchcock. I want to do Alf dressed as Alfred Hitchcock.
I feel like there's we don't get one podcast without an Alf reference.
No, of course not. There, I think it would be great. I'd have like me as Alf and like, you know, the suit, and he's always in profile. And then I'd either have like birds from the birds. I'd have a little directing thing that says Hitchcock.
Oh,
yeah, and I'd just be like, I think it works so hard.
That's really great. My first thought on like a hybrid costume is like Clueless, like the game Clue.
That's great, like with a candlestick,
right? And then like a noose, but it's also in like the
like
Cher. Yellow plaid jumper.
That's cute. It was Dion in home ec with the
with the Jeep convertible.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God, that's a great
with
mashup.
Paul Rudd.
At first, I thought I'd do Alfonso Ribeiri. As we know, who plays Carlton from Fresh Prince, but I didn't know if that would be too much of a deep cut. Because I'd have to do the Carlton the whole day dressed as Alf.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, there's still time. I also think this is a great question to pose to the audience. That you guys tweet us, put it on Patreon, let us know what your Comic-Con mashup costumes would be.
Absolutely.
I feel like we've just created like a new at midnight game.
Truly. I mean, it's a missed brain teaser every day. So,
oh man.
Yeah. So that's my Comic-Con tattoo convention line dancing weekend.
Yeah. What a week you've had. I really have not done very much except look at nature. So
and get real mad at it.
Get mad that it's so naturally goddamn beautiful and I don't appreciate it enough. So maybe I'm just mad at myself. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. You got anything else on there?
I had a dream about Sean Hayes.
Okay. A sexual dream?
No. I was having like some fever dream nights where I was like having very intense dreams, like with tossing and turning, like sweating and like all that stuff.
I hate that.
It's so annoying.
I hate waking up in a cold sweat.
Yeah.
From a nightmare. But I also love it because you wake up and you're like, I just burn calories without doing anything.
Yeah. It was like I was in my own. What do you go to those like heat saunas?
Yes,
yeah.
Fuck yeah, infrared
saunas. Yeah, I felt like I was like creating my own for free. But I had a series of dreams, and then the last one I remember before I actually woke up was like a celebrity football tournament. And I can't tell if I was participating or watching. I was just there somehow. And it was intense. And I forget who it was, but it was like some machismo, like A-list celebrity was running a ball back. And then Sean Hayes came out and blocked him like so hard that the audience lost their brains so much. And then he proceeded to do this insanely acrobatic, like, round off back handspring through the goal, like through the, what is this called? Goalpost.
Yeah.
And then he like ended up doing like a perfect dive into the ocean and everyone lost their minds and couldn't believe it. And then I woke up.
Two things. Retelling dreams on podcast, just really gold material.
It doesn't work as well.
Two, did you have that the night you had just eaten drugs?
No, this was a few nights prior. So
okay.
that's how I knew.
Then
like,
you knew you were in a good mindset.
Yeah,
for
I was like ready
the
for
weekend.
drugs. Feed me drugs. Cookie Monster of drugs. Yum, yum,
Sean
yum.
Hayes, thank you for that.
Yeah, I was just like really proud of him, oddly. I woke up with like this sense of pride as if I like know him on a personal level, and then was like, what am I doing with my life? Time to go to Palm Springs.
I'm proud of you on a personal level because I always get nervous to say machismo.
Machismo.
Is it machismo?
I think it's machismo. I think
machismo?
It's machismo. Who knows? Let us know.
Machismo sounds like something like a football player would call like a nerd.
Yeah.
You, what's up, machismo?
Yeah, that sounds like someone mispronouncing that last name, like Machizo or something.
Or just like, yeah, you're not macho, you're a machismo.
Yeah.
Oh, butthole. I don't know. I get nervous saying that word.
Do you have anything else?
I mean, I always have tons of stuff, but I also know we can always save it for later. Let me see if there's anything I'm dying to tell you.
Burning through your list.
No, not really.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like I had a packed week.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that when I tried to go back online and find the woman from Conyers, Georgia, who found Jesus in her toes.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do it, but I did see one of those like BuzzFeed articles where it shows like food appearing in Jesus.
Yeah.
Guys, some of these are a stretch.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
they don't
Jesus is a stretch. So.
anything. It's a cheese doodle. And I was just looking at it going, okay, I guess I can kind of see it. Like one was in like the swirls of an ice cream.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who the fuck is staring at their ice cream long enough to find that?
Also,
Eat your ice cream.
Also, the ice cream, that's going to be a one brief moment because the ice cream's going to melt and it's going to shift.
You're not going to be able to prove it.
No,
yeah,
exactly.
Exactly.
Well, glad
Anyway.
that we ended up getting mad at things that don't matter.
Someone sold a pierogi that looked like Jesus for $2,000 on eBay.
Oh, man. Then what are we doing with Patreon when we can be doing that?
Let's just go to the grocery store stoned and just try to find a couple things that look like Jesus.
Done and done. Sign me up.
New
I'm already
hobbies.
there. Thank you guys for listening to this episode.
Yeah, if you haven't joined our Patreon, go do it because we always upload really cool, fun shit there, like bonus podcasts and special videos, and just we kind of use it as our Tumblr. So
yeah, it's patreon.com/thismightgetweird. And
I think it did.
Yeah,
I think it did.
that's a great way to end it. Stop.